Hello everyone! This is a tutorial on how to make this really cute bracelet using Perler beads or other meltable beads. These are really versatile things and they can very easily be used in making jewelry. And this is a spring color themed bracelet, but you can make any color combinations that you want. And also I'm going to show you how to make a smaller version of that that looks like this. So you'll learn how to make both of these versions, the big one and the small one. Let's get started. Here is what you will need for this project. So obviously you're going to need some meltable beads. Now I have here Hama beads, which are the brand that we can most easily get in Europe. But Perler beads, I understand, are the brand in the US, but they are basically the same, just these tube beads that can be fused together. And I have this jar that has many different colors. I've added onto this jar as I've used them, different beads. These come into 3 different sizes. They come in the mini, midi and the maxi, and these are the midi ones, which are the most popular ones. And of course you need them in colors that you like. You will need a pegboard to put your beads on. I have this flower pegboard, and this is really useful because I can make 6 beads out of this, and that's really cool. This has 5 petals here. And then it has 1 middle, and they are all round, so I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can get basically 1 bracelet out of this 1 mold. And I've noticed that this is quite easy to find online, for example, by searching Hama flower pegboard or Perler flower pegboard. So you can find this online if you're interested. But you can also use any round pegboard. If you have 1 round pegboard, then you just need to make 1 bead at a time, but that's totally okay. These are really quick to make. And of course you will need some ironing paper to iron your beads with. And if you don't know how to use these meltable beads, these fused beads, then check out the instructions in the packet of beads that you buy. And tweezers are a really good thing to have for this because it's easier to pick the beads with the tweezers and put them on the pegboard. But of course you can do that by hand if you want to. Then you will need a clasp for your bracelet. I have these silver colored toggle clasps. And you will need some jump rings. Now these jump rings are, I think they are size 8, but yeah. These are really good size for these. They just very snugly fit in, but they have enough space to attach other jump rings onto them. So that's a really good thing. That's actually everything you need for this project, so let's get going. So here I have now my Hama beads in these colors, and then I have my pegboard ready. And I'm going to make 2 beads here, and then I'm going to make 4 more, but I'm going to do that off camera so that this video won't be too long. But I'm going to start off by placing one of these gold beads at the center of 1 bead. So these are going to be my centers. Let's put 1 there. So these are my centers, and then I'm going to be using these pearly white beads that are going to be the sort of like the inner circle. So I'm just going to place these here. As you can see, these are really easy to put on with the tweezers, and I'm going to do this actually on both beads. So I'm going to have this pearly inside ring in both. There we go. And then I'm going to be adding an outer layer in one, the pink one, and the other a turquoise one. And you can use so many different color combinations here, and that's awesome. And you can make really cool beads with these in any color combinations you can possibly think of, which is awesome. There we go. So the outer ring takes 12 beads. So now I have 1 bead ready. You can't actually see that well because the beads are the same color as the pegboard. But let's see with the other bead. So I'm going to make a turquoise one. And I thought this would be a quite a nice combination of colors, pink and turquoise. Notice that you can also leave the very middle, the one that has the golden beads, you can leave that empty. You don't have to put anything in there. That has a certain type of look as well, if you prefer that. There we go. There are my beads. And I'm going to be making more of these so that I have 6 all in all. I've noticed that at least my wrist takes 6 of these. So the bracelet that I showed you, this has 6. And this is the perfect size for me at least. So, but you will of course have to measure if you need more or less. Here we go. Now I have finished making all my 6 beads. And as you can see, I didn't stick to these 2 outer colors. I added some other ones too, because I really like this color combination. I think it's very springy. It's springtime now, so this fits very well. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my iron and I'm going to iron these. And if you haven't ironed Perler beads or Hama beads before, just you need a ironing paper on top, and I like to have a paper that completely covers my whole pegboard. Of course, if you have a huge pegboard, that's impossible, but you know. And then I just go over the warm iron over on top several times, and then I go each one separately and I lift the paper every now and then and I check how they are, and when I think they are good I lift the paper, and usually these stick to the paper and I kind of roll it over, or I take it over, and then I put another paper like this on top, and that at that point the pegboard is off, and then I iron them from the other side too. But there are instructions on ironing these. Probably there will be an instruction in the package where you get your beads, so check that out. And you can also find instructions on the makers' websites, so Perler beads or Hama beads. But let me iron these and get back to you. Here my beads are ready and ironed, and there they go. If you have a side that you feel is worse ironed than the other, like the beads are more melty, then use the better side. That's what I often do with these. But how to attach these to each other? Now you are going to need 2 chain nose pliers that look like this. They are smooth on the inside. And of course the jump rings. And you need to take a bead and you need to open a jump ring quite wide. And if you don't know how to open a jump ring, you basically take a jump ring and you need your 2 pliers and you grab it like this, and then you don't pull it apart, you just pull forward and backward like this. So that's how you open a jump ring. Now you take a bead and then I usually like to hold on to this with my plier, and then you find a nice hole there, but they should be like almost the same, all of them, and then you just put it in, and you might need a little bit of maneuvering but not too much so that it won't break. But as you can see, this is the size 8 jump ring, and I can fit it very, very nicely around a bead, and then you just close it like that, so you bring them together, and as you can see there is just enough space there to attach another jump ring there. So now that you have 1 jump ring on 1 bead, you're going to need to add a jump ring to another bead. So let me do that. Put that in there. There we go. Remember to be gentle when you put the jump rings onto these beads so that the bead won't break. There we go. And now you're going to, of course, attach these 2 with a 3rd jump ring, and you do that by just putting the jump ring here, and then you can just add the other bead to that empty jump ring, and now you just need to close this jump ring. There we go. So now I have attached 2 of these flowers to each other. I'm going to attach all of them, and after that I'm going to attach the clasp. Here we go. My bracelet is ready. So what I did is what I showed you, I attached them to each other, these beads, using jump rings. And then on both ends, I added a jump ring to the bead. And then I added one extra jump ring. And to that jump ring, I added the toggle clasp. And here you can see the other side. It's done the exact same way, one extra jump ring and the clasp. Now you need to try this on your wrist, of course, so to see that it fits. And sometimes to this end, you need to add maybe 1 or 2 extra jump rings so that this part here manages to get through this part here. Because if it's very, very short, you might have trouble getting it through like this. But I managed to do that just fine. So that's why I didn't have to put any extra jump rings here. But let me show you on this one that I showed you when we started. Here you can see that I've actually added 2 jump rings because I didn't manage to get this through with only 1. So you'll have to just see, try it on and see what happens. And you can make these in so many different colors. You can use different colored findings. As you can see here, I've used copper colored one, and it gives this a really nice funky feel. So yeah, and I promised to show you also how to make the smaller version, and that's a really quick thing. I'm just going to show you what you're going to do on the pegboard. So basically, when we had the pegboard and I placed beads, I placed 1 middle bead. Let me pick this bracelet here. So let's pick that one so that you can see more easily. So when I put this in here like this, I have the middle, I have 1 ring, and I have a 3rd ring. But if you want to make this smaller version here, all you need to do is leave the outer ring out. So you'll just put the middle here, 1 bead, and then 1 ring around it. And that way you can get these smaller beads. And as you can see here, I used very colorful ones. So each one is a different color and the middle one is a white color. So that way you can make smaller beads as well. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Leave me a comment if you have questions or anything you want to say. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye!